Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Data Brief. Yeehaw, party. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Good old Brian's not feeling so hot. Past couple days, I spent the weekend basically in bed. I sort of muscled my way through the broiler chicken show yesterday, but wasn't able to spend the afternoon with Liam. So I think I have my camera on. I don't know. There's the camera over there. We'll try and do our 30-minute summary here. It is a holiday today, though. So it is Martin Luther King Day. And actually, this is an interesting commentary on, people are giving artificial intelligence a lot of credit. But actually, I don't think this quote unquote artificial intelligence is actually half as smart as you guys think it is. So it's interesting how on just Google, I go, what markets are open on MLK Day? And, according to Google's sort of thinking process, trying to spit up what it thinks I'm thinking, it's just spitting up like Whole Foods markets. And, this is just a shill for local markets. Totally not even remotely close to what I'm asking about. So I thought that was it was an interesting tell of don't give this artificial intelligence stuff as much credit especially as the people who build this stuff and are trying to sell you a product and trying to shill you that they're so awesome. Obviously, they're going to spin it like it's the next best thing since sliced bread. I think it's still got a long way to go. Anyway, so with regard to today, is the stock market open on MLK Day? So at least they got that. And then stock market holidays. Looks like Wall Street is basically closed. I did see Wacker Street was open today. And if I'm not mistaken, I think, under my sort of ill health right now, I've given myself to take permission to take a couple of days off. And in fact, what was funny, Chris, is that my alarm, because I set an alarm on my phone, and then and then Chris calls me at like 4:45 in the morning, and I asked Chris if I could have the day off, but I forgot to reset my alarm, so the stupid alarm woke me up at 4:45.
I woke you up in spirit anyway, didn't I?
And I was telling the guys in the room this morning, I was having the weirdest dreams. When you're sick, you have the most bizarre dreams. But I was in Japan, and I was in sort of like a posh kind of neighborhood. And this one restaurant was just giving away sheets of bacon. And I was collecting all the bacon. And there must be, like anybody who knows dreams, that must be. And it was really good bacon, too. I mean, it was good quality stuff. And then I was running around trying to find something to like put all the bacon into, like tin foil or something like that. And then I turned around, and then the Japanese had thrown all my bacon off of it. It was like the roof or something, the bacon I was storing it on. And it was all over the ground, and the cats were eating up my bacon. And I was like, oh man. And then I just woke up. So bizarre dreams when you're sick, fighting with the cats. And the Japanese, I don't even know if the Japanese even eat bacon or not. But anyway, it's bizarre dreams. Anyway, what can you do? So it is a holiday today. Like I said, most of the North American markets are closed. I was having fun just doing memes and stuff like that. Don't get China'd. But I did notice crypto was trading away, and actually it was interesting. Kind of a good lesson on price action, although I don't know how usable it is for you guys. But oh God, I don't even know where I have it now. Too many charts, too many screens. Oh, darn, I forgot where I put it. Anyway, I was having fun looking at the futures markets this morning. How did I put that? Is it over here? Here. And you can see what Chicago's doing. So, clearly Wacker Street is open for business. And I suppose all of our futures markets, I think I said earlier that Chris, I think he said he got off one or two half decent trades on the opening range trade this morning. So is that correct, Chris? I don't want to speak for you.
2 losses, 1 win.
Okay, well, there you go. Better than kicking the pants. So I can't give you really a report on that, but maybe down the road we'll get Chris to the point where he could give us an opening range summary report. Actually, I got a lot of help from Andrew today. Been wondering, couldn't figure out, if you do a lot of these volume studies on TradingView, you get these studies that have just a bazillion zeros after the numbers, and it just takes up so much room on the screen. It's a little bit frustrating. So actually, that's what we were doing with Sharktoshi this morning, trying to figure out how the heck to get these numbers reduced. But you can see both on the OBV script now, I've got the numbers nice and small. And then on this up-down volume study, we got the numbers small. So I had a lot of fun doing that this morning on the holiday. That was a productive use of our time. Good old Bitcoin. I was putting out tweets yesterday. I think probably we really don't have any choice. We just have to remain bullish until we actually get some sort of top that comes in here. But I suppose you could make the argument from a number of different perspectives that this sure looks like a fractal. It's quite remarkable the distance from sort of like the middle of this W to the left and then the middle of this W to the right. Fascinating how this is what I would call market symmetry. And if you think about things like head and shoulders patterns and stuff like that, you can maybe in the after show, I'll sort of break down how I did this market symmetry study for you. But I actually do like the idea that maybe we have to consolidate a little bit. Keep in mind too, the breadth indicator right now is just it's not a sell just yet, but it can't go any more bullish. We're basically at the end of the road here. And frankly speaking, I haven't seen this out of the indicator before. So half of the reason why we just got this thing up and running and the price point of this breadth tool is relatively low, given this hyperinflation world, is because we're still sort of like vetting this out. I'll tell you, when this thing's up and running and kicking butt, and I can actually report how you can dramatically outperform the market using this tool to help you time your purchases and sales. I'm not going to charge you cheap. It's going to be damn expensive to use this site because we'll make a ton of money trading this. And then anybody who wants to use it, well, you're more than welcome to participate, but it ain't going to be for free. Anyway, enjoy the tool while it is as it is, and of course, thank you everybody for participating in the promotion that we did last fall. In fact, I think we got a fairly sizable user base now for this tool, so I'm actually pretty proud of that. But anyway, point of the matter here is we had an excellent long re-entry. And what's fascinating is actually if you look at the price action of Bitcoin itself. This long entry actually makes a lot of sense. Where did I put that? There are so many Bitcoin charts. Half the time I can't find the ones that I want to make reference to. What did I do with that Bitcoin chart? I don't think it's over here. Anyway, it was a cool Bitcoin chart that I had there that no, maybe over here. Yeah, this might be it. That's not it. Darn. Oh well, we'll come back to that later. Anyway, it was a really cool sort of illustration of where no, that's not it. Darn. I always do this. Oh yeah, this is it right here. Duh, what a doofus. All right. So we had that buy signal to get back in off of the algo. We had a little bit of a head fake sell signal here, then a buy signal. And really, you could make the argument that all this was just buying the big W there. And what an interesting analogy of the 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 indicator itself above the 50 line. So, in our education program, we teach about how the oscillators signal above the 50 line is very bullish, signal below the 50 line is very bearish. So just that in itself is hugely valuable information. Then also the slope of teal, and I kind of talked about this yesterday. We had this buy signal here, but teal was sloping down, and that's back sort of middle of December. And you can see middle of December was basically in here. I mean, on balance, had you bought here, I don't think you have anything to complain about here. But wow, what a difference when they were above 50 and the teal was actually pointing up and trending higher. You got a buy signal, and look what happens. Ay caramba. So I think actually Josh even points this out in the user's manual, but really, really good application of that concept. In fact, actually, I don't know whether we can make a short out of that or not, but I got to work on my short skills. I'm too long. No, that's what all the girls say, and it just drives them crazy, but in a good way, right? All right, now I'm back to talking about cats and bacon in Japanese restaurants. I wonder, interestingly enough, this harmonic pattern, I don't even know if it's even relevant anymore. I don't know what the extreme reading to the upside could be. This probably is a good analogy. Remember, Stephen was a little bit suspect about my harmonic because the B point came in so quickly. He would have preferred that maybe the B was here, and you can even see I said B was supposed to be here. So I don't even know if this is even a relevant harmonic anymore. We'll say fog and bums. Actually, you know what? This is a really good application of our level 1 program and the parking garage. So hopefully what you can see here is we had this established trading range, and we can even maybe go out to like a hour, 2-hour chart. So we had this range here from this low back up to this high. So you're like A to B, and then you go C to D. But in our education program, we teach that this is one range. And if we break out through the top here, then what we should do normally is basically just replicate this range. And what a surprise, look where we stalled out. Right at exactly 200% with, the algo is pointing buy signal now, or here, right, where this long from that was this point here, right there. We've hit 200%. And of course, the algo right now is saying we're running out of steam here. So, because it is a holiday in the broader market, I'm talking a little bit more about Bitcoin, but I probably should talk a little bit more about what's going on in the rest of the world here. Got to keep an eye on this 30-minute window here too. I'm supposed to get a little bit of religion about this. Okay, so broader market, stock market's still pointing up. And, the typical January barometer sort of study is kicked in. We're about halfway through the month. We've got, of course, a big options leap expiry coming up here on Friday. So anybody who's a derivatives fan understands the significance of what's happening here on Friday. And FYI, any of those people that have taken the, say, level 2 program and are curious about the level 3 program, we have both of our level 3 instructors coming on the call this week. Zach and Josie will be on the call through the week, Wednesday and Friday, to talk options and all the fun ways that they analyze the market and trade the market through the options proxies. And also, too, how you can use options information to help you frame trade setups. So look forward for that coming forward. I suppose the after party show, that's where we'll be doing those. So with the fact that we do have this big leap expiry, I wouldn't be surprised if they, kind of have a predestined level that they want to park the market at. I think we looked at that briefly in the broiler chicken show. I suppose in the aftermarket show, we could take a look at that as well, our after party show. As well, too, given the fact that we at the beginning of a new calendar year, so we have the January barometer report we can check in on. And also, too, we just finished the first couple weeks of the new quarter. So not a bad idea, especially with it being new year, for us to sort of check in on fund flows and what mutual funds are doing in the marketplace and where sort of retirement money is being parked by the sector rotation guys. So got a lot of stuff still going on in the market that gives us sort of information about the market. I would say on balance, 2022 is a pretty nasty year for both stocks and bonds. It's interesting how I did see people on social media making a correlation between 1971, 1931, and, because of the sickness, everything maybe got pushed back 1 year, 2022, where if you have the bonds and the stocks both down double digits on the year, usually a fairly large currency devaluation is on the way. That happened in the 1930s with FDR, and Americans being outlawed to own gold. Keep in mind, we might find something along those lines by the U.S. Central planners here in the not too distant future with regard to your most beloved asset. And then 1971, of course, you've all seen those tweets, and I think there's somebody who actually has like the Twitter handle, "What happened in 1971?" Oh, Richard Nixon, Tricky Dick, basically screwed over the entire population of the United States of America by leaving the gold standard. And actually, that sort of set the stage for the nightmare scenario that we're in right now. You could make an argument that had the stock market done what it should have normally done in 1971, probably the 1970s would have been a pretty tough decade, but not because of inflation, but because of basically, ironically enough, deflation. Stock market should have come down, commodity prices should have come down, but the exact opposite happened. They sacrifice the purchasing power of the currency, so all the citizens suffer under hyperinflation. Oh, and here we are again. So anyway, stay tuned for more on that, folks. Actually, interestingly enough, in the news, if I understand correctly, all of the 1% are getting together in Switzerland right now. And of course, plotting our collective demise, right? In this silly Davos, I think they call it. Good old Klaus and all those cronies and the World Economic Forum, which is just a load of horse shit. Anyway, I saw that was underway. And I'm not quite sure where. Anyway. Somewhere in all of this, I saw a news article about that. So I suppose we ought to keep our ears peeled for any great pronunciations from the 1% coming out of that. Because it is a bit of a holiday. I think markets in general kind of quiet. I don't know whether we actually see anything break in seriousness. You can definitely see that we are building to some sort of crisis that probably kicks in the end of course, we got all this damn advertising and stuff. The end of January, probably early February, in that the right-wing party has sort of taken over the U.S. House of Representatives down in the States. And of course, they are not fans of this, dilution of the currency's purchasing power to collectively sort of socialize the losses of the banking industry. So, long and short of all this rant is we're going to see a bit of a check. And the irony of it all is that, January barometer kind of talk, we've been kind of expecting that the market should pull back here a bit. Here's our S&P 500 chart. And if anything, this was, the first day right out of the gate, people are like, oh boy, this is going to be a tough year. For the first week, you can see a bit of a tough start. Then, okay, through mid-year, we'll sort of, calm down, bring things back into the fall. Oh boy, we're going to have just a horrible market state, and then rally it strong into the end of the year. And this is what I think is going to happen here. Notice too how they got this little blurb right here where they went and took out these lows. They didn't take out the January lows, but they took out these like sort of mid-year lows. And I think that's typical September, October. And I've kind of showed you guys that on things like social media. This looks exactly like Mr. Wyckoff. I mean, isn't it remarkable how that first week chart almost looks identical to that? So there is sort of your fall dump. And this is what I'm worried about, right? They don't call it the fall for nothing. I think we see our ultimate lows in things like crypto and the stock market and stuff through the fall window here. We really shouldn't get into the business of predicting. But based on what I'm seeing out of the January barometer, I kind of think that. Then if we think about this as the full year, remember, this point right here is basically sort of halfway through the year. So here we are. Look at that. 14th, 15th, 16th, 15th. That's about middle of the year, isn't it? And what letter of the alphabet does that look like? Uh-oh. So you can see, and actually it's interesting, in the day trader room this morning, Shartoshi was even going, hey, I'm starting to get some bear divs in here. I can actually start justifying hunting shorts off of sort of like an intraday and day trader basis. So it's fascinating how that seems to align nicely with some sort of top coming in mid-year. And of course, there is middle of January. So if we do play out like this, then what should happen is we should see some pretty craziness, and then, maybe even down there, and then a rally into the end of the month, something like that. Now, could we see that this debt ceiling debate, which is really, I think, nothing more than this, at best, this is just going to be a public protest over the what these damn socialists have done to us. I mean, that's what did I do with that? Is it over here? Yeah. I don't think that the Republicans can do a hell of a lot, because the long and short of it here is, if you're up to your tits in debt and you just say, look, I'm not going to pay anymore, then you go into default and the whole damn world just falls apart. I mean, any of you that have gone through bankruptcy or gone through the process of telling the banks to F off, you know what life is like following that. Next 2-3 years following that event, going to be very, very difficult for you. Usually it's like going through insolvency, coming up with some sort of debt settlement agreement, all that nonsense. But eventually the banksters get their ounce of flesh, or pound of flesh. And the interesting thing is now, the banksters have gone and made it so that actually declaring bankruptcy isn't even really a real thing anymore. So, like if you owe the IRS money in the United States, so what? Bankruptcy doesn't change anything. You still owe them the money. So I don't even think there is even such a thing as, just declaring bankruptcy and starting from scratch. She fucking owns everybody's ass, whether you like it or not. Now, it is fascinating how the Republicans have sort of turned this around with this whole 86,000 new IRS agents. And, the interesting thing is now, the banksters have gone and made it so that actually declaring bankruptcy isn't even really a real thing anymore. So I don't even think there is even such a thing as, just declaring bankruptcy and starting from scratch. So maybe there's going to be some sort of give and take here. But at the end of all this, I think one of the reasons why you probably see this January barometer play out like it is, and we have a big rally into the end of the year, is I think this is going to be nothing more than a political protest by the right wing in the States. But ultimately, they will acquiesce and the market will be happy and it'll have a big honking rally at the end of all this. But I wouldn't be surprised. Don't be shocked. And actually fascinating. Look at what level we're topping out here. Isn't this interesting how this stuff just keeps playing out? So no real accident that we're stalling out where we are technically. And then if we think January barometer, I think that makes sense as well. That's, I think, probably a pretty good sort of summary of what we should be thinking here on this Martin Luther King Day. Well, it is interesting to hear the rhetoric coming out of China right now. It's absolute train wreck. Just a gentle reminder to the public that, you just can't trust totalitarian dictatorships. Never. Just don't do it. This is your hard-earned money. I used to have people that would come on the website and say, it's no big deal. You can buy Chinese stocks. You'll do fine. No. Don't take your money into a place where there's no rule of law. And then just understand that these totalitarian dictatorships, they have a history of just basically stealing people's wealth. It is what they do. So I was jokingly putting this out again on the site this morning. I think I was just doing it in the day trader room, but just try to remember that this is a very dangerous world that we live in right now. And trusting people with your money is actually very, very, this is half the reason why you want to buy Bitcoins. Is I might even argue, don't get US aid. Mr. Biden and his leadership over the past couple of years has, in my opinion, just completely decimated the fabric of the American society. And I see it all over the place. Anyway, probably a little bit of rhetoric there. I suppose anything else what we wanted to talk about? We wanted to, interesting how we're getting a little bit of a bottom coming in on crypto here intraday. So I don't know whether, I think I had posted actually, I don't know which chart I had it on, but I was actually pondering, I think the tweet that I put out was sort of like bullish until not bullish. I don't really have any sell signals here per se. The only signal that I really have is the market is egregiously overbought. And I thought I had it on here, but who knows, got too many charts on this screen. I did actually have a bullish bot set up, and I'll watch for this as it plays out overnight. And where's the best way to show you that? Over on the Twitter tweeting, Twitter, there, right? This guy right here. So this was Bitcoin on Stamp. This was like an hour and a half, 2-hour chart. Interesting bot setup that's painting 22,700 as an upside objective. I have always said this before. I don't think it's in anybody's best interest to get into the habit of predicting what's going to happen. You just trade your setups. This setup, I'd say at least 60 to 70% of the time you get a pop up into this 50 to 66% of window, and you can either move your stop to scratch, or you can actually lock in profits. I'd probably say about maybe 25% of the time you get just a big blast off to hit that upside objective, and you knock the cover off the ball risk reward wise. And I'd probably say about 20-30% of the time we just can't even achieve this 50% level, and we roll over. So as it stands right now, I would give this at least a coin toss that we are going to move higher here in the short term. And we might get some sort of crazy ass blow off top, especially if the Republicans start saying, you know what, screw it, we're going to shut everything down. We are not raising the debt ceiling anymore. And it becomes some sort of big showdown in Washington. I could see that happen. And interestingly enough, Mr. Biden has lost a lot of credibility recently. Of course, I think the guy's half senile anyway, but he's lost a lot of credibility over, I think in our news hot wires here, over these documents that have been found, because he and his administrations were kind of like, what's the term? God, my mother used to always say it. Purer than the driven snow. I can't remember how that expression goes, but like beating up on Trump. Trump's such an evil person, and everything about the Republicans is evil, and we're the good guys and all that. And of course, they all crap their pants on Trump and his classified documents down in his place down in Florida. And of course, they were just going to throw the book at him. And then all of a sudden, Mr. Biden now is guilty basically of exactly the same crime. And now all of a sudden, well, it's not that big of a deal, Mr. Biden, no, he just made it's just a minor mistake. And really, we shouldn't beat up on him too much. I mean, talk about hypocrisy. So I do believe that the public has kind of lost over the past year or so. I think they've lost a lot of confidence in Mr. Biden and his sort of I'm better than Trump. In fact, I would say he's cut from basically the same cloth. And if you're gonna hang Mr. Trump out for these classified documents, I think you got to hang Biden out just as bad. The Republicans have now basically officially taken over the U.S. Congress. They're going to have some sort of big debate. I thought it was interesting sort of side to this. I get the impression that Granny here is actually going to her new masters and actually explaining that, and think of like the Chinese as, ironically enough, the U.S. bankers, and the Chinese, she's got to now sit down with the Chinese finance minister here and explain that the United States of America might actually default on their debt. I get the impression, though, that a lot of this is just nothing more than political grandstanding. And I get the impression that she was literally interesting how, like Winnie the Pooh, you never hear from him or anything like that. And of course, we don't know what the hell's going on with Taiwan and, sickness. Chinese, I think, are hell bent on the whole damn world now getting COVID one form or another. Interesting how all of those things can be dropped in an instant, and the Chinese finance minister and Granny here all of a sudden meet in Switzerland. Just, okay, well, we got to have a meeting. Let's get together. Almost like, there is no such thing as international politics right now. So fascinating side story. And I'd be interested to see. I mean, maybe you find that the Chinese actually start dumping US Treasury bonds in earnest. I don't think that happens. Like I said, I think this is just grandstanding through 2023, set that Benner base. A lot of politics, but the default doesn't come until like 27, 28. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. All right, there you go. That was Big Brother just talking down to me from the skies, Brian. And
we can definitely talk more China in the after party show.
So. There you go. I should probably refrain, right? I'm wasting people's time here. Yeah. All right. So final note. And actually, it's interesting. The boys actually helped me figure out a solution to my browser issues here that were not letting me load the page. But as Chris mentioned, I suppose if you want to try and cast off the shackles of this society, you heard Brian say neither a borrower nor a lender be. That's one easy way to cast off the shackles of the 1% on your life, and tell Klaus to go, whatever himself. Empower yourself, right? Take control of your life. Obviously physical exercise and all that kind of stuff, do that for your own personal body. But something like your finances, I think that the best way for you to get mentally, financially, is just to simply take control, take responsibility. And that means that you've got to sit down and start planning. And for those people that are motivated, you got to plan correctly. You got to, the irony of all this is that it's not like we're reinventing the wheel. There's plenty of education out there, but it's all little piece here, little piece there, little piece here, little piece there. I do like how our education program basically teaches you how to build and then run an effective small business of trading, with the expectation of actually being profitable. Also, too, with the understanding that not every human is built the same way. So it's not like there's just one answer, do it this way and you will succeed. In fact, there's people on social media that are like adamant, do it my way, or you end up failing. And what ends up happening, of course, is they end up pissing people off because they're not like that. And then all of a sudden, mysteriously, they're now facing a whole bunch of social backlash, and they're blaming sort of the 1% for their running into problems with the law. But I would just simply say that they were just a little bit arrogant. Anyway, the point here is that we give you the tools and the framework to help you liberate yourself from this world of financial slavery. And all it takes is just one good 4-year cycle, and understanding where we are in the cycle and getting yourself prepared and putting yourself into position that you can participate, and you can participate correctly, and you can change your life forever. And folks, got to tell you, we are now in that window. So do you want to change your life? It's up to you, obviously, at the end of the day. All I'm simply saying here is our program is very effective in doing that and helping. What's interesting is there's people like Da Vinci here. When he first came to TRI, man, that guy couldn't trade his way out of a paper bag. And actually, we even developed setups while he was in the TRI program, and the setups that he even created were pretty good. Our instructors are awesome, how do you say this? Advocates for our program, because they were all exactly like you. Graham was just Joe Sixpack when I first met him. Same thing as Shark Doshi. And they've worked their way through the program, and now are actually part of the staff. And I love promoting from within. Like Chris here, my co-host. Basically he's worked his way up through the ranks, and now I think he's getting pretty darn close to being a professional futures trader. So the point being that the program is here for you. We only do these intakes about 3 times a year, right? Winter program, spring program, fall program. Our intake is now. Price point is actually still kind of cheap. The boys are adamant on keeping this around $1,000 to get going. As I said, maybe if you're interested, join the 30-day trial and just sit and listen to our guest speakers. Later on in the week, we'll have the level 3 instructors come on and talk a little bit about options trading. Great sort of shill for our level 3 program. And in fact, we also had Stephen on a week or so ago on the Afterparty show, and he did just a fantastic presentation on harmonic trading. And that's also a concept in our level 3 program. So chock full of information from day one right through to the end of the program. The ball is in your court. Registration's closing shortly. Price point is ridiculously cheap. So if you have the opportunity to join us, I would highly encourage you to do so. And oh, by the way, as I've sort of repeatedly pointed out, ironically enough, there are, in this space of speculating and in this space of quote unquote market timing, there aren't many windows where I can just simply say, look, you got to get your crap together now. You got to do it now. Very rarely do I ever sort of pound the table. You got to get your act together now. But we are in one of those windows. You've got to get your crap together if you want to take advantage of this upcoming 2 or 3 year bull run that should probably start about the middle to the end of this year. You got to get everything in place now. And if that means I got to learn how to run and build and then run my small business of trading effectively and step into the marketplace and at least know what the hell I'm doing and why I'm doing it, well, you got to do it now. As I said there a moment ago, very rarely do I ever say, because these windows just don't come along very often. So like through this whole like previous 4-year cycle, this is 8 years, but these 4-year cycles, like right here is mid-cycle. Okay, that's fine. That's awesome. But it's not nearly as good of an opportunity as right down at the bottom of the cycle. Same thing as the last cycle that just went through. You could come in here and, okay, maybe you do well, but maybe you have to end up giving money back. Who knows? But it's nothing like coming in at the bottom of the cycle. And that's basically now. We are in that bottoming window. So I think I'll leave the shill at that. I think you guys are getting the message. But the school registration is closing shortly. So if you are going to act, you better act pretty damn quick. All right. I think we'll leave the video at that. That was probably about 40 minutes or so. My apologies for being a little bit prolonged. But of course, we had to get in good old China rants there and treasury rants. Couldn't be a show with Brian without some sort of a grievance, right? All right, everybody, have yourselves a great day. We'll see everybody in the after show. Take a look at things like the first 2 week study. Maybe look at the January barometer from the different assets. I'll tell you, Bitcoin looks like Bitcoin's going to do pretty well this year. So that's always a good sign. PMA for the win. All the best. And the only thing left for Brian to say at this point is bye for now.